Now, blackouts have dramatically ramped up since they first began over 15 years ago. What was meant to be an emergency measure now defines our daily lives. Today, we explore the state of affected communities and how they are coping without electricity. Lethiwe Mdluli is in Pietermaritzburg and Theodore Mashele is out in Johannesburg to assess the situation, and they both join me now. Lethiwe, let me start with you. What has been the response from small businesses regarding these rolling blackouts?
Well, Maseko, the reason why I came to Pietermaritzburg is because it's one of the areas here in KwaZulu-Natal that has been hard hit by rolling blackouts. In speaking to the small business owners in this town, they are saying that they are struggling to survive and they've had to find alternative ways to keep their businesses open. And I also had a chance to speak to the municipality. I spoke to the municipal manager a bit earlier on about how they've been impacted as well as the municipality and what they've been doing to try and keep the municipality working so that they can deliver service delivery. And they are saying that they've had to spend a lot of money to just basically come up with other ways to service places that need service delivery in terms of providing water to those communities. As you know, that pump stations need electricity to pump the water to different areas, but they are struggling. The municipal manager did share that a lot of small businesses have had to close down, meaning that a lot of the municipality's revenue has decreased due to this fact. But right now I'm joined by a small business owner, Kevin Bikram. I want to bring him in and speak to him about how his business has been impacted. Thank you so much for joining us at eNCA, Kevin. You know, we've been speaking to a lot of business owners in Pietermaritzburg. How have you been impacted personally and also your business as well?
Lethiwe, thank you for the interview. Look, it's a struggle every day as businesses and residents. I think the main issues are, I won't go into what most of the other residents would have said. I think it's an issue of communication. What we're finding is the municipality needs to understand whether it's load shedding or whether it's a power outage, no power is no power. So, you know, it happens so frequently, you don't know what is the cause of it. So under those circumstances, I think people are asking for the proper diagnosis. You know, we want to know what is an ETR, expected time of repair, what is the cause of the problem. So sometimes you'll phone the contact center, you'll get a reference number, sometimes you won't even be able to get through. And then when you follow up an hour or 2 hours later, there's no exact cause of the problem and there's no estimated time of repair. Now, of course, I don't want to paint everyone with the same brush. I think what we need is in the municipality, we have some very hardworking civil servants. At the political level, we have some very hardworking ward councillors, and a lot of them are phenomenal in terms of giving us feedback on the group chats and the community communication lines. But at the same token, a lot of them don't care. Some of the ward councillors, you can't even get hold of them. Some of the officials, you try to phone, there's no reply to emails, there's no feedback. There's just, so we've got these two extremes. It is a small percentage of the good guys that are holding it together at the expense of a large number of people that just don't care. So for us, it's a case of communication. If we know power is going to be down for 2 hours, we can plan accordingly. But in the face of unknown, you don't know how to plan. And I think that's where the frustration comes in. So communication will help in terms of residents and businesses becoming a bit more tolerant.
Yeah. You know, in speaking to the other businesses, they also touched on the infrastructure issue, saying that the ailing infrastructure hasn't been repaired in over 40 years, and maybe this is why the blackouts have had such a huge impact in this town.
That is absolutely correct, Lethiwe. Look, we are not insensitive to the fact that what we're experiencing is mass urbanization. As businesses, we are pro local economic development. We welcome it. When you walk through the CBDs, you can see there's a hive of activity. There's a lot of activity happening in the city centre. However, we feel that there's a very poor planning on the part of the municipality. We, as businesses, we were part of a Vision 2030. Many years ago, where the municipality had a target for 2030, this is what they see in Mdluli as being a place where you can work, you can live, and you can play. We were privy to plans in terms of beautifying the city, the streets, upgrading the fibre, the electrification, the water systems. That was probably in 2015. Now we're a bit disappointed to notice that the 2030 vision is now something that people don't speak about, and they've shifted the goalpost now to a 2040 vision. And we're saying, look, as the private sector and as residents, we want to work with the local municipality, and we want to plan a path forward for the city. But we can only plan when two parties agree to talk and communicate with each other. You can't have one group of people that are shifting the goalpost and there's no feedback, then there's going to be a disconnect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lethiwe.
Okay, Masego, there you have it from us businesses here in Pietermaritzburg. You know, I think everyone has an idea on when they will get load shedding, but the poor communications, as Kevin is saying, is impacting on them as well. And in speaking to the municipal manager a bit earlier on, he did share that he understands the frustration from residents, but he also wants them to understand that this is not an issue from the municipality also only, but it's an issue that a lot of municipalities across the country are dealing with, and it's an ESCOM issue, and they are trying to work together with ESCOM to find alternative ways or better ways to service municipalities.
All right, let's take you to Theodore Mashele, who is in fact in Pretoria. Theo, Pretoria is also going through quite a lot in terms of municipal service delivery. There is that municipal strike as well. But what are people and businesses saying about these rolling blackouts?
So, Masego, this problem seems like it just goes deeper and deeper as we explore it. Because earlier on, we did go and speak to a councillor there at the substation in Johannesburg, just before we came through here in Pretoria, just looking at this a bit more in depth. And he was talking about infrastructure and saying his main concern is the fact that the infrastructure that these substations are built in are not meant to sustain power with all of these blackouts that keep on happening, with the load shedding that is actually happening. So the on and off on its own is actually creating more damage to the infrastructure of the substations. And then we came through here to Atteridgeville and we spoke to Ugogo earlier on, and for her, as an elder who lives in Atteridgeville and is surviving on pension money from the government, was saying that getting alternative power is simply not an option for her. She can't afford that, and also her appliances are being damaged. She can't replace that, so she had issues with just keeping her food fresh. But now I have come through to a small business here in Atteridgeville that, as we know, the local economy is one of the things that are being impacted. Bafana, thank you for speaking to us. How does this power cuts affect your business?
The power cuts is there kawata mo Atteridgeville because like repalla go bereka he onal di other state in chiga mo shopong like ya air affect repalla go bereka because like tshwantse re patele cheleta petrolo reke gas and then arsa bona le profit ya rona because profit ya rona fela mo di gasing le mo di petrolo. So no is rakawate hatata and arna le mimmereko hape le rente yarkawat.
So how do you think municipalities can give you support when it comes to helping you out here?
Rekopela motlakase rente e be ko tlase because ha e tla le godimo, and then le mimmereko rekopela mimmereko for youth ya rona o tletsa batho mo ditšhomi tsa rona di tsuba di drugs a dina mimmereko, so yeah ya re kawata this thing.
All right, thank you very much, Bafana. So Bafana there was just saying again how this affects him in terms of profit, the fact that he has to get alternative power and he ends up spending more money actually paying for more gas and using generators and buying petrol instead of actually doing the things that he could actually be doing to improve his own business with that money. So there is less revenue that is coming in for him. So what I'm getting in most of these communities is that there is just a deep impact impact, all impacted differently, but it's an impact nonetheless. For this is a small business, we know that it's very important for our local businesses to also sustain themselves in order for the economy to also keep going. And Bafana here, who just owns a quarter place here in Atteridgeville, is also affected deeply by these power cuts and ongoing power cuts.
All right. Let's leave it there for now. Lethiwe Mdluli in Pietermaritzburg and Theodore Mashele in the capital.